Hello, hello, and welcome to the grand finals of the Rando Master tournament in 2022. We have a very exciting match for you. We have Sirius facing off against Infinite. They will show off what Master is capable of, hopefully, and not just have a standard seed. And I'm here to commentate. My name is To Kill, and joined in commentary alongside me is Turtle. How are you doing, Turtle?
Oh, Tuchel, I am so excited for this race. We've seen so many different things throughout this tournament, from fast seeds to slow seeds to ridiculous master strats, and I love it so much. And these two, of course, have made it all the way to the very end and are now fighting to be crowned champion. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Yes, this will be super exciting, and we did have the chance to talk to both of them before the race, and neither of them is feeling really confident, at least not in their master ability. Both only have picked it up shortly before the tournament, so not too much experienced with maybe the master in itself, but definitely experienced with the randomizer and with Ori and the Blind Forest. Ain't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. We even got a really huge glimpse of that in Infinite's first race against Baron, where there was one pickup in Logic that required a micro ledge, and Infinite didn't actually know that the micro ledge existed. That thing can just happen in Master. Like, a pickup seems impossible, but it's actually required. And Infinite did manage to get it and win that race. It just shows how kind of bonkers and weird the Logic and Master can be. And with both of our runners only starting to get familiar with it, we could still see some of those pickups that neither of them knows how to get.
Yeah, Sirius is definitely known for his excellent knowledge of logic in both Will of the Wisps and Blind Forest. He's actually the one to have written the Will of the Wisps logic. He has mentioned that he's not quite sure about the master logic, as it is not quite as refined as maybe standard. And so there could be some surprises hanging out for him. And Infinite, on his side, also not too familiar with the logic, especially worried about Dash and what the logic could have in store if it comes down to rocket jumps. Like, what pickups are considered doable with rocket jumps, which aren't. But both runners agree on one skill, isn't that right, Turtle?
Oh yeah, it is also my favorite skill in the game, and that would be double jump. It's super duper convenient to have, and for players who are exceptionally good, like both Sirius and Infinite, it can also be used as a form of wall interaction. So if we see that, prepare to see some great hopping on and off walls in a way that most certainly isn't intended to skip having to find climb or wall jump.
And as is typical, we have some technical issues on the side of Infinite. Blind Forest being a great game, I will blame it on Moon and not on our great rando devs. We will inform Sirius, since there's only an ability cell on the first pickup. I'm sure we can restart this, and yes, Sirius is aware, and we will restart from the beginning, since, well, that is not a good way to start, but I mean, that just happens.
Or it's just the game getting its nerves out of the way. Unfortunately, that means Sears and Infinite have just a little bit more time to sit at their computers, getting sweaty and shaky. But
I find it very interesting that both are playing on file 50. I don't think that's the usual file people go for. I see a lot of file 2, maybe file 1, but not really file 50. Is that something you do as well, Turtle?
no, I'm a File 2 guy myself, and I put some nice glowing golden oris on either side of it. But hey, when you have the download or the DLL that can make it basically infinite, you might as well go for all of them, right?
Yeah, that is a serious consideration to be made, as we are waiting for the new race time room. Puzzled Villager, interesting name for sure. So we need to wait for our two runners to join them, but in the meantime, what are you hoping for in the seed?
Ooh, well, you mentioned the name Puzzled Villager, and I hope this seed turns out to be a puzzle in and of itself. A lot of Master Seeds can have those one-off pickups that are basically required to progress through the seed, forcing our runners to just comb through what they have, searching each and every logical path until they get that one thing in that one more piece to unlock the next part of the puzzle. I love seeds like that, at least to watch them. Playing them, maybe not so much, but when I can commentate and watch great runners do it, it's a treat. What about you, 2Kill?
I am hoping for an area we don't usually see. I am hoping for Lost Grove to turn up, for the end of Misty turning up. Something that we don't usually see. Maybe some Forlorn Escape, if we can get it. But for now, it seems like we're on our way to get back into the action. Technical difficulties aside, hopefully Infinite's game won't crash today another time.
Again.
So the first pickup we've seen on Sirius' side is an ability cell. Ability cells, especially in Master, are kind of scary. They could mean that you need triple jump or even ultra defense to continue, as they are all required in Logic. Or we could have a lot of fun in the red tree as well and have some Sea Flame burn.
Yeah, because Master Logic can be so demanding and requires so much, you don't really know what the ability cell is supposed to be used for. And that just is more tension for our runners to have to deal with, thinking about how they might use that, especially if you want to do something like skipping the cutscenes in Blackroot Burrows. Early on, that requires those ability cells, and they might not have the dash or charge flame skills needed to actually know what the game wants them to do yet. So it can be a gamble. Which is interesting to see what our runners will have to do with those ability cells after they get a little further into the seed.
And Infinite wishing good luck on our Rando. Let's see whether we have good luck or whether Sichen pulls out their worst, and both getting their wish with the double jump as their first skill.
This is indeed the best timeline. Both of them, like you said, wanted this skill. I want this skill to show up. And of course, that means wall interaction is possible. So they could even go to Blackroot Burrows right away, and there's a whole horde of fun things to do. And Infinite loves this pickup so much, spams Alt-T, just showing off that, yes, double jump, best pickup in the game. Let's go!
Oh, definitely. Both really excited, both immediately heading there with that ability cell, both getting up. And also, the two of them have mentioned that they feel really confident about the double jump wall interaction, and we've seen that, like, just gliding up that wall as if they had climbed. So I'm very excited for that. Double jump wall interaction is one of the most satisfying things to see, in my opinion. And Infinite going for that upper pickup first. You can see that is kind of finicky with only double jump, but gets it, and it's a map stone that could be important for later. But for now, we need to carry that orb to get to some pickups. I don't even know if you can get to the upper pickup with just double jump. Oh, never mind, it's easy.
Yeah, Sirius just snapped his fingers and was up there already. Something else that I think might come in handy to know later is that it looked like both of our runners put their first level up into the purple tree. So that is the one with stuff like sense at the very end of it. And that can be very, very useful when trying to scour out a hard pickup, but it does leave stuff like charge dash and rocket jumps a little bit further away as you need to go up the green tree to get those, or the teal tree, or whatever color it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was mostly a play for Magnet. Magnet is really huge in terms of saving time, because you don't need to run around picking up everything, it just floats to you. So I wouldn't be surprised if Magnet is the only thing we see. Maybe map markers to be able to scout out what you have gotten on the map and what you didn't yet. But I wouldn't be I would be very surprised if either runner went for sense, knowing that they have double jump and that triple jump is just that much more powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, they can even find one more as a pickup, an extra double jump, to get the beloved quad, which can just make a bunch of things possible. I don't believe quad is supposed to be in Logic, even at master level difficulties, but having it can just make so many things possible that weren't before.
Yeah, and even in Master, stuff like extra air dash and extra double jump is not in Logic. But it is, as you mentioned, very helpful. We're getting another ability cell behind the Crushers as well. More ability cells, so maybe that triple jump is the next piece of progression they are intended to find. And at Master difficulty, you're even expected to find a certain amount of... Oh! Never
What a
mind.
seed!
Triple jump acquired already. Wow, this is a very generous seed for a double jump start. Like, finding that extra double jump is insanely helpful. Like, it can't be understated. They don't need to find that many ability cells anymore because triple jump could be in logic and is now possible. Sirius getting sniped twice by the same slime can now drop down, but that extra double jump, especially in later parts, will be so important. Misty can be done super easily now. Even something like Sorrow is so much less scary if you have that much air retention.
Honestly, one double jump is probably the comfiest skill, but then having two just makes this game feel so nice to play. And then also, if they really need that quad, they can always just buy up to it. Like, they don't need to search for it. They just need to have enough ability cells. It's quite a bit of ability cells, but it is feasible to just, hey, I need one more jump to get through this sticky part in Sorrow or this bit in Misty or Horu. I can buy it. Both runners now know that and can do that. So it's just a phenomenally comfy start, even though they don't have that much in the way of actual like technical progression to different areas yet. It's just anything that they get will just make it more and more comfy from here.
Also, Sirius, really nice pulling out the double jump to get over the boulder without any trouble. Keeping that mapstone probably for the mapstone altar in Glades, since the BRB one is right next to the teleporter. Heads up play out from his side. Let's see if that plays out to be positive, because there could be another mapstone here, and then that would be for nothing. Also made sure that the Frankie didn't die. Same on the side of Infinite. So let's see. With double jump, they are still fairly limited in the sense of right side not being open just yet. Wind Restored could mean we would could find Glide, but realistically, it's probably just a filler pickup.
Oh boy. Did you see? Ooh, okay. First off, on Infinite Screen, the mapstone turned out to be a keystone. And that would be the second one that our runners have been able to find. That's the only real way through that keystone door that's blocking off pretty much the entire early game area. But underwater, in a pickup that is in logic in master difficulty, Sirius found a grotto teleporter. And so that is another way of progressing into some of the early game areas. And Sirius does immediately take that. It's pretty much his only progression forward without that extra mapstone keystone. And so he is now in Grotto, one of the most pickup dense areas in the entire game. And he will be able to make his way down into Gumo's hideout, grabbing a bunch of pickups that are you're supposed to have double jump in order to get. And hey, look, that's the only thing he has. So very convenient find right there.
I don't think that keystone was on logic though, because getting to that mapstone altar isn't quite doable as maybe. And not in logic anyway. We talked about how master logic is not really fully done, but Sirius got Valley TP, so even left side is, well, not really traversable, but at least easily accessible once they get more skills. So we will see, but it looks like Infinite is indeed continuing, and Glades did open the keystone door, so good call on his side. Sirius going into Grotto. We will see who finds the progression first. I don't think Valley has anything in terms of progression. I couldn't think of a pickup you could reach with just double or triple jump.
There definitely, I feel like you could damage boost once you have a little bit more, maybe even quad jump as well. But again, quad jump's not in logic, and they don't really have health yet. I believe Sirius has found one total cell. Infinite seems to have a bunch more energy, but that's actually a mega. So it'll be interesting to see where he uses that as, again, with double jump wall interaction, he could open up Death Gauntlet and find a different route to Grotto.
Is there a safe spot in the spikes in Grotto Vaults? Or did I just imagine things on Sirius' side? Anyway, he did a really nice second try rock slide to be able to get to those pickups without the use of a mega energy or 4 energy. Missed both pickups. Another mapstone here and an ability cell, so more resources, but not really a skill or any real form of progression just yet.
Yep.
Oh, so
And
many
we
maps.
also,
Oh!
yeah, that's an actual skill. Even if it's technically considered one of the most useless skills in the game. Charge Flame is still a skill that is blue breakage for Infinite, and the ability, more importantly, in Master, to redirect projectiles. Certain projectiles, like spider shots, mortar shots, can be redirected to break things that would otherwise be inaccessible. It is ridiculously hard, and that's why it's in Master Logic. But this is a Master Seed, so Infinite could be forced to do some of those redirect shenanigans in order to find that required progression.
Also, Turtle, since double jump is wall interaction, we have a wall interaction blue break start.
That we do, but they do already have the Grotto TP at least, or access to it via that dirty water swim, so it's not as important to go all the way around the vanilla way to get into that area. But it'd still be funny if something was in Spider Lake that was required to get.
Yep. Wall interaction blue break seeds tend to be longer simply because there's a lot to go through and a lot that you can do. So it might be a while. We find a second energy cell on the side of Infinite and on the side of Sirius. Infinite taking his mega health to check fake long flippers. Just another ability cell. Let's see. He looks like he's going to keep it. So teleporting out using the new Alt-R function. And Sirius approaching his second tree, so not quite the first hint just yet, but wall jump tree is accessible to him? Question mark? I'm not sure if he has 2 keystones.
It looked like he needed to use 2 to open the door down to double jump. And yeah, it looks like he is now out, meaning he does not have access to the same area that we just saw Infinite do in Glades, and that Infinite's going back to even until he finds 2 more. So that could be a major stumbling block right here. Just having used those 2 keystones for a single tree, and now needing to find more to move in what the game might intend as progression.
I mean, we know that there's a skill, and it seems like it is supposed to be progression, so hopefully he can find those 2 keystones. I do believe the Grotto GP was in Logic, and with that, getting to the keystone door was in Logic as well, so the randomizer must provide him with 2 more. And we get our first hint, Sandstone and Valley. Valley Long Swim?
Valley Long Swim or Forlorn Entrance is also a pretty long area to try and get down to. I enjoy when runners have to go all the way down there, especially when they don't have to go into Forlorn. They just go all the way down there and find like 1 pickup and then leave because they can't open, and that trip feels wasted.
Yep, that would be funny. And also there's Fax, which is also always fun to watch, because I do believe Fax is in Logic with a variety of skills. It's one of those pickups that in Standard absolutely requires climb, charge, jump. But in Master, I do believe there are a multitude of ways to get there. Sirius, however, being forced to go and do the swamp loop and search around the right side. We have so many map stones.
So many map stones, but no keystones. And of course, we are seeing Infinite go through yet another keystone door into Spirit Caverns and finding an absolute boatload of them in this area. So right now, Infinite has pretty much all the keystones, and Sirius has none.
Yes, definitely. And all the map... There's...
Another!
What is up with those mapstones? It could be one of those seeds that forces you onto mapstone 7 or something the like. I'm still waiting for our Water Vein mapstone 9 seed. I'm gonna be honest here. We haven't had one of these in a while in a tournament. So maybe the finals? Seedgen, please?
Well, we know it's not locked in Horu. You can get into Horu without having to go up Ginso. Unless, of course, something like absolutely vital for some like Valley Long Swim, like Grenade, is stuck in Ginso. But there's definitely a way. There are ways to get into Ginso. Oh, and as I say, it's not going to be Valley Long Swim or anything fun. Infinite finds the Sunstone in like the first pickup in Valley, right above there. So that's a little sad for the people who want something spicy to happen, but good for Infinite to have found that and at least know where it is in his pocket.
Yeah, definitely. It could also mean that maybe there's horror progression. Not quite yet, because I don't think we have the skill set. There's a keystone on the side of Sirius, so only 1 more to go for him. Hopefully he makes he realizes that those 2 keystones are a form of progression and doesn't use the entire loop. Of course, there could be something there, but with Charge Flame in Spirit Caverns, it's less likely. Since this is a starved variation of the randomizer, it tends to be very linear in its progression, and there usually aren't 2 progressions at once.
Mm-hmm. And not having blue breakage, especially for Sirius, means that every time he passes one of these plants, it's a pickup left behind that he might need to come back to later. Just because it could be progression potentially, like this one right here. He can't get it. When Infinite comes to this area later, he can. So that difference could mean quite a few pickups being checked now without having to backtrack for them later.
And Sirius finding 3 keystones back to back, now at 4, so can go further. But I do believe this is a good call to finish this loop, even though he doesn't have blue breakage. He doesn't know that the next progression step is blue break. So on his side, this is absolutely reasonable. Uses the 4 HP and health regen to get to the underwater pickup. Just 7 XP, but just being able to recognize that you have the right amount of health there, really good call on him.
And also using that triple jump wall interaction amazingly well to get through this area. There is a pit of spikes down there that, despite being encountered very early in the vanilla game, those just do infinite damage. So Sirius managing to avoid those. Grabbing some pickups up here, looks to be trying to use Magnet and an energy glitch. Oh, to get that progression vault door open. Unfortunately, grabs the energy just a little bit early and can't drag it down with him. But he will leave the glitch energy in that door for later if he needs to come back with 3 energy.
And more 7 XP pickups. Infinite now opened Death Gauntlet door. Also into Grotto, the kind of slower way, but actually not really. Maybe forgot he got that pickup. But opening these safe anywhere to get over the bridge. And actually with that double jump, gonna check the 2 energy door first. And Sirius now heading into Glade. So they're kind of switching places. Sirius will find that Charge Flame, and Infinite will find a whole lot of resources, but nothing of importance was in Grotto. So we will see where our next progression is, and it's really hard to tell who's in the lead right now.
I will say, though, nothing of importance was in Grotto, unless it's in blue breakage. There are a couple of plants down here that Infinite can get, and that's really the big difference between our 2 runners right now, is that Charge Flame. So if something ends up being in one of these plants down here, that's huge for Infinite, as he'll be getting it on his first pass through, whereas Sirius will have to go back once he gets Charge Flame, which should be very soon. He is on his way towards that Grove Loop, Grotto Loop. All the areas that start with G, I forget, but he'll be getting it soon.
Yeah, we will have skill parity soon, and also TP parity, with that Valley TP being picked up by Infinite. And as you mentioned, having blue break here is so nice. And actually a really slow check on the side of Infinite with that far left Grotto. With a double jump, it's of course fairly easy, and there is Charge Flame on the side of Sirius. Nothing in far left Grotto besides an ability cell. We mentioned before it's kind of important, so yeah, especially in later areas. We've seen a lot of races where zombieing through sorrow was definitely a thing that was done. So having those ability cells and having those possible zombies is so nice for later.
And I might have just been seeing things, but it looked like Sirius actually moused over triple jump a few times in that ability menu, maybe indicating that he wants to get that as soon as possible, just because quad is so convenient. And he already has 9 ability cells, almost 10 as he's filling up that EXP donut. And so he could pretty reasonably get that before long, potentially unlocking that quad jump. Absolutely amazing thing to have, as well as getting very close to ultra defense, as well as rocket jumps if he finds dash.
Yeah, dash would be super powerful. I personally hope we don't find a power skill anytime soon. That would be far more interesting. But Dash is a fan favorite because it's fast, and speedrunners like being fast. That is kind of a rule in general. But so far, nothing that speaks of quickness in this seed. We found that Spirit Light efficiency on the side of Infinite now as well. That is very nice for later. It allows to double all the XP we grab, and yeah, that just means that every XP pickup is such more viable and allows us to get to the skills or abilities we need much faster, and actually slow pickup on the side of Infinite.
Yeah, Grotto Mini Boss is typically something that you'll see in a bunch of standard runs because it's unlocked with basically nothing in logic. All you have to do is really get onto the side of the map um, and wall jump or wall interaction to get up this. But it is in logic. But in Master, where the seed likes to place progression in more difficult spots, it's actually less likely to find something there on that long pickup. So it's interesting that Infinite chose to be thorough with that and didn't end up getting anything useful out of it, just a bunch of energy. But definitely as well, it's good to know that there wasn't anything there. He didn't miss out on too much. And with Charge Flame, he beat it pretty quickly. So good work.
In the meantime, Sirius did get his Sunstone and did the lures and used the double jump to get up to that upper pickup in Valley. Was only an attack upgrade, nothing too valuable. Now skip the cutscene, and Infinite is heading for his 4th tree right now, so definitely advantage on that side, but actually not. Sirius is about to grab his Charge Flame tree.
Yep. And this will put our runners to tree parity at 4 each, where they definitely want to keep pushing trees pretty quickly because they only got one clue, and that one clue was the Sunstone, which they both got immediately. So the Gumon Seal and Water Vein could still be just about anywhere, and Water Vein especially is important. So our runners will really want to know where those are sooner rather than later as they keep making progress in different areas through this seed.
Since we're rooting for Seijin here, I am hoping that the Water Vein clue is on tree number 9 and points towards Horu or some other interesting area. That is what I'm hoping for, but Infinite is now taking a Frankie for a walk.
Ooh. Yeah, our good friend Marvin is coming along now. This is actually not in logic, even on Master, because Marvin has this property where he permadies. So if you accidentally kill him, you can soft lock yourself if required progression is down here. So we don't force that to happen in CGen. But Marvin, if you leave him alive, is still an option to get down into lower Blackroot a little early. And it also, frogs are magic. He just kind of stomped on that floor without actually stomping on it. But another stomp from Infinite will get him into lower Blackroot. Ducks under the laser, and now he has quite a few pickups that he can try and get.
Yeah, and Sirius is following suit. He is taking Marvin as well. Did not quite get it first try. This is very finicky after all. Needs to balance out the Crushers and Marvin following him. And now be careful that... okay, I was scared about those spikes. These spikes are scary. Infinite on his side, just finding more keystones so far. Nothing of importance just yet. But it is a big area. We are kind of limited with what we have. We have a bunch of ability cells, so we can get to Grenade Tree, although I'm not quite sure how to get all the way up.
Yeah, with Quad Jump especially, I would have no doubt that it's possible, but Runner's still a few ability cells short of that. But both of them are now high-fiving. Oh, and Sirius isn't going to check the lower pickups. He's just going straight for a grenade, and Runners will literally be on the same pixels of the screen as they run through here. Sirius electing to take a zombie, Infinite electing to take a zombie, and they're both now into the grenade tree area. We'll see how they get up with just triple jump to aid their movement.
I am amazed at how easily they both pulled off the one zombie under the laser. This isn't extremely precise because you need to save at just the right time, but yeah, both getting up there. Oh, Sirius closed DSA without realizing that he didn't have energy, so Oh, he needs to do it all again because there's only this energy down here. The bird unfortunately didn't drop any, but absolutely no problem. Knows his way around these lasers, so can go through. And Infinite slightly ahead, can now get to the tree. More keystones, so nothing serious, will go through the cycles a third time and can now go towards the tree as well.
And this being our 5th tree, only having 4 experience on it. Maybe this was meant to be in logic earlier, but low XP values don't really tell you as much as high EXP values do. And they still need 1 more tree for that all-important hint. Ginso is obviously a no-go. Stomp is pretty hard locked. Unless they're able to maybe redirect a frog shot and do lower entry, maybe? I don't think it's possible, but who knows? And then there's left side, so our runners have to kind of figure out what on earth they're going to do in order to find either progression or the next hint.
Yeah, and Sirius is actually now up to triple jump in the ability menu, so can use that to his advantage. Infinite, I don't think, is quite there, as Sirius is going through. Will lure that Frankie. I don't know if Infinite went for these pickups already, since he went through Death Gauntlet before. But regardless, both runners need to check the same things. Wow, nice Sea Flame usage to get to the plant on Sirius' side.
Mm-hmm. And also, Sirius having triple jump in the skill menu means he's now only 3 ability points away from having Ultra Defense, which can be in Logic and Master, and is huge because there's a lot of dirty water in the sea. They have not found clean water yet. And so if they need to go down any of those swims, Ultra Defense makes it so you can swim like twice as long. It's pretty ridiculously good for those dirty water swims. And Sirius is very, very close to getting it.
And talking about dirty water swims, there is a Frankie on the screen of Infinite that can lead to one of those. And since Master is notorious for giving the hard tricks, I wouldn't be surprised if, yep, there is the Igor lore. No, not quite, just getting up there. But I wouldn't be surprised if Igor would go on a trip fairly soon here. There is the Butter Cell that is in Logic with, I believe, 5 health or 6 health. So that is definitely possible. Not quite there just yet, but yeah, we'll hopefully, well, maybe hold progression. I've seen a lot of Master Seeds that had progression on Butter Cell, so I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, it's one of those pickups that it's a dirty water swim, so it's terrible. It requires some lures, so it's terrible. And therefore, because it's so terrible, Master Seed loves it. But neither owner is going for it just yet because it's so terrible, and they want other things. So spike jumps and other water swims are going to come into play first.
Wow, nice damage boost from Sirius. Only gives him a keystone, but that is some great knowledge of skill. What he can do. Infinite on Spider Lake. I'm not sure what he is going for here. We've seen pretty much all of those pickups. The only one we haven't seen yet is the health cell near Spider Sec. Sirius skipped that earlier when he went back. But it seems like Infinite will not keep this. Yeah, and will go back, so time for Igor, please.
On the other side, it looks like Sirius wants to get into Swamp, and in fact has enough ability cells for that Ultra Defense. Uses a quick trick there in order to drop himself further into the water as he levels up Ultra Defense. Also gets a level up midway through the swim, and actually comes off with half health after that swim, which gives him access to this inner swamp area, which includes the Stomp Tree, which has the next clue that he needs to find where a dungeon key is. Very impressive.
And he also has enough keystones, very important, because this is one of those keystone doors that you really don't want to dupe on. He doesn't even have the skill set to dupe on here, but can go through. And with the quad jump, like, who even needs something like charge jump when you have quad jump?
Yeah, just making this look easy, barely takes any damage in that climb up, is going to do another redirect in order to grab that pickup through the stomp floor. And we'll get his 6th tree. Ooh, it's not Mapstone 9, but Watervane Sorrow is pretty interesting to see.
And we also get Charge Jump, which is very important. This is our next progression. I don't know if this is in Logic, I don't believe so. But I have to say I'm a bit sad. Charge Jump being a very powerful skill here does mean that, well, the rest of the seat is very much just getting easier.
Yeah, with Charge Jump and Quad Jump, our runners have some pretty great verticality, or at least Sirius does. Infinite might need to get to Swamp very soon in order to catch up, and he does go for Quad Jump, getting very close to Triple Jump, or to Ultra Defense then as well. So we'll see if he decides to do something like that shortly, or if he's just going to keep checking pickups that are already in Logic.
Is this Go mode? I have to ask because I have absolutely no idea. I do believe, though, that could be enough to get into Horu if our runners decided to do that. Maybe not quite. The pit is vast, but there is a lot of possibilities with Charge Jump and Quad Jump. We have so many possibilities with staying in the air and bridging huge gaps. So we will see, as Sirius is heading towards Horu, whether it's possible or not. I would be surprised if he didn't at least try.
Yeah. Something else that I'd like to note is Master Seeds have this weird tendency to put a skill on the final escape. So our runners both know that because they've been playing Master Seeds a lot lately, go figure. And so if they feel like they just need one more skill to finish the final escape, they can just go there. They don't really need that skill to clear the map because, well, it's on the final escape. So that could be a huge boon for our runners, being able to just, well, maybe not know, but presume that there's something there that they can use to help them with the final escape when it comes time for that.
Infinite going for the swamp as well, so we'll probably find his Charge Jump in time. However, to kind of conclude Turtle's explanation, they can't just go to the final escape, activate it, and then continue their search or their tree count, simply because the final escape is locked behind finishing all trees. So it isn't a mean to get more pickups here. Sirius will just check those first pickups and hope there is something here. But he can't activate the final escape, so he will reload this save and maybe check a few more pickups, but I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't anything here. This isn't quite in Logic just yet. We saw him use 4 jumps to get over Horror Fields, which is not what Logic intends him to do. Oh, hi Sigma.
Yep, there's the one experience. Beautiful pickup. But even with those quad jumps and charge jump...
Oh, that is neat.
Oof, yeah, and that really great knowledge of that gap, there's still quite a bit that's just completely impossible in Horu, especially without Stomp. Stomp blocks so many rooms in here. So Sirius, for now, is just trying to see what's available, what he can get, collect some maybe pretty big experience values or 1 experience values. Those also exist. But on the other side, we do see Infinite making his way to the Stomp Tree, getting Charge Jump, putting our runners on skill and tree parity once more.
Yeah, Sirius definitely still has an advantage, even though he still has a lot of plants to go through. Those were nothing. And we will see whether he decides to go for them. It seems like he is indeed going for them, heading back into Grotto. Going to check the 2 energy bolt here as well. With that Charge Jump has a much easier time to get up here than just with the double jump. Has a mega energy now as well, which isn't too important since he already did Rock Slide. But it's nice to have anyway. More saves are always good.
And speaking of more saves, we see Infinite creating a ton of different backups. Using your ability cells does save the game, which is what we need for stuff like this fastball. But that means you can't undo it unless you have backups. Infinite has been very, very smart about using all of those backups possible to make sure that he has the ability cells he wants instead of wasting them and being able to not get them back. As he did take one to fast fall into this lower swim of swamp. And there are a couple pickups down here to get with Ultra Defense. Has to avoid the Crushers very, very well. But it is probably possible for a skilled runner like him. And yep, he's going to be able to make it up to this next pickup with a little over 1 health remaining. Good work. And we'll see if this or the next pickup are anything important in the deep, dirty water.
And there's Igor on the side of Sirius trying to lure him to stomp this peg, which is part 1 of this butter cell lure. You need to have him on the jump pad and then go up. Oh, gets damaged. This is very precise. Just a health cell on the side of Infinite as well, so nothing of importance in the swamp swim. Sirius getting part 1 of butter cell. This isn't over yet. We still have to guide him through the rest of this. So not placing a save, very risky. Needs to make sure, that spider shot scared me, that no enemies attack the Frankie. The last enemy doesn't really matter because the Frankie is invincible to that. But yeah, that looks good to me. Should be able to go into butter cell and see if there's anything on there. I'm predicting, let's say, grenade.
That
Not
is
quite.
kind of the exact opposite in terms of what you'd normally get in, say, all skills. It's the first skill compared to the last one. Nice to have. Makes it so Sirius doesn't have to do any of the double jump, wall jump shenanigans. Can make it a little easy on the hand, but yeah, not really all that necessary for him going all the way down butter cell just for that.
Yeah, and for asking you can do that, yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do in this game, and we're just touching the surface. Both runners were very happy to show off double jump wall injection, and that wall jump is actually insane because it means you have 1 extra jump off of walls, and so even more verticality now, and wow, this is a jump seat. We have all the jumps already.
Quad, charge, and wall. If there exists a wall, we will be going all the way up. I mean, unless the wall is spikes, of course, or there's a ceiling, which, hey, look, Sorrow, that's where the water rain is. That has a lot of spikes and ceilings, so even with all this verticality, it can still be very dangerous to attempt areas like that, even though it's required to do areas like that.
Yeah, we will see where our next progression is. With wall jump, Horror still isn't in logic. We also saw on Sirius' side that there's nothing of importance there. But it's interesting to see because I can think of like huge areas that our runners haven't explored yet. Of course, there's the Valley TP, but even with all the jumps in the world, there's this massive spike pit before they can grab the rocks, and even just getting to the rocks, I think, is kind of impossible right now. Of course, there's the redirect. Oh my god, Charge Flame redirect, Stompless.
Yep. And actually, one of our runners in the pregame interview that they gave us mentioned that. I don't remember who it was, but they said that they were very worried about the Stompless strats as they didn't know them as well. So that could be potentially trouble if that's where progression actually is supposed to be, because that is a very, very difficult redirect.
Nice level up on the side of Sirius, gonna save him the awkward saving and waiting strat that Infinite had to do. So he's doing the Swamp Swim as well right now. Nothing here as we know. So yeah, they're yet again just trading places, checking different areas, and I just want to point out Sirius is using the mouse swim, which got added in 4.0 as a quality of life feature. So instead of only having the cardinal directions of WASD, he can use his mouth to direct where he's going. Infinite doesn't have that problem since he is a controller runner, but it's just really nice for KBM runners to be able to choose whatever direction you want to go to.
But even choosing swimming directions isn't all that helpful when there's nothing underwater. I mean, of course, our runners did have to do the swamp swim in order to get into swamp to get the tree and charge jump. But beyond that, and I guess wall jump was under butter cell as well. But there hasn't been all that much useful in all these water checks that they've found. And so they're now running out of easy checks, meaning that redirect might be the biggest possibility here. We're seeing Sirius head up towards where that's done. So we'll see if he goes for it, or if he decides, nah, it's really hard, let's try something else.
Yeah, it seems like he is indeed going for it, rekindling his save, waiting for the soul link. Okay, it's back. 2 more health to go and go up here. Wow, has the waltz to get his double jumps back, so what am I even talking about? These spikes aren't worrisome at all. Gets up here and now we'll do a save, and yeah, actually, this is harder if you have sign. Fun fact, because there is something in this game known as sign RNG, which is the up and down bopping of sign. So you need to be very peculiar of your position and hope sign is in the correct position. So let's see how it goes.
I've run a signless bash with Stompless a few times, and this trick is hard even without sign. So having that sign RNG to deal with as well, oh my god, good luck, Sirius. This trick is bonkers, and he's looking to be going all in on it, trying just to get that angle as quick as he can in order to get that kill plane gone so we can start checking things on the left side. He's happy
Sirius...
with this.
Sorry.
Let's see. No. Oh.
Yeah, Sirius especially mentioned that this trick is giving him a hard time, so I am not surprised that this might take him some time, or even he's deciding to go back into horror, which usually is the play of desperation, because horror is a very horrible place after all. And
horrible.
Yes, indeed. Oh, are we gonna see some hyperspeed? Oh, door warp. Never mind. He's trying to do the door warp to the end of the room, because there is one more pickup there that is easily obtainable.
And door warp, for those who don't know, is a very, very finicky and weird trick. You have to enter the door on the first frame the game loads, and it just warps you. It's not always 1 frame, but it's usually 1 frame, especially after you miss it. And Sirius does get it and is now down in this fiery death lava area. He doesn't have stomp, so he can't actually complete the room, but he can get over here to a bunch of experience floating over lava. That's not worth him keeping, and he will go back to the main area of Horu.
I might also want to point out that he's on 8 map stones. Infinite is currently at 7, so if it comes down to map stone progression, Sirius has the upper hand. However, they currently only have like 7 obtainable mapstone altars, since I don't think they can get to the Horu one, and of course not the Forlorn one without the Forlorn TP or Gumon Seal.
I don't think they can get to Valley TP either without being able to break the kill plane. I mean, they can theoretically break the kill plane with that ridiculous Charge Flame redirect, but...
And that one is in logic, or at least it could be in logic. We aren't sure whether getting up there is in logic. As mentioned, Master isn't fully path. So we will have to wait and see where that progression is. So far, Infinite going to a pickup that has become into logic relatively early. No, it's still not in logic. We still don't have 4 energy, and I'm not sure if everything we have is enough. But there's Warmth, Cozy Seed. Warmth didn't make it far this time.
Yep. Still in Horu, a very warm area for Sirius to pick up that warmth.
Yes, definitely. So, interesting play on his side, definitely, to go for these Horu pickups. They are fairly slow and fairly dangerous after all. This is the final dungeon of the game. You're expected to be really hard. We will have to see whether he tries to go for the Mapstone Altar, since technically you could, I believe, damage boost up there. And indeed, it looks like he's preparing for it.
And not only does this game expect you to have like a bunch of health and energy when you're in Horu, you also expect to have all the skills. And our runners
There's
have...
friendly spikes there?
Oh, yep. Those spikes
I
are
did not
super duper
know.
convenient for when a situation exactly like this, where you don't have bash, but you have a ton of verticality. The only problem now is that Elemental is being a huge jerk. He's trying to be friendly and give you bashful projectiles, but we don't have bash. We just want ups, please. And so Sirius does take him out, but doesn't find the friendly spike this time. And hey, he's respawned. So this might be a pretty difficult time trying to both kill him and get the friendly spike. And as I say it's difficult, he immediately gets it. Good job, Sirius.
Why can't you save on spikes? I am worried about this game. Wow, gets up there without any problem. 69
Hey,
experience,
nice.
nice payoff, but nothing too important. So is going to heal up and actually trying to go for R1 and L1. Interesting play. Of course, he might be gambling on the fact that Master likes to place skills very, very late into logic, because that is just one of those starved things. But other than that, I don't think there could be anything here. He's using that one zombie to get up there. Nicely done. Like, on the same time, Infinite is doing the save drop, using his mouse for that, because save anywheres on controller are a pain.
Yeah. He does get another ability cell, again, very, very useful for not only the leveling ups to things like Ultra Defense, which we've seen from both, but the zombies, which we've also seen from both, letting runners evade death for the price of a ability cell. And there, Sirius does find another skill in Horu, and it's pretty much the one skill that you... Oh my gosh, he finds Stomp, and then immediately afterwards the Forlorn TP in the deepest depths of Horu. Ooh, that's really, really, really good for him. He has a lot more options now.
Oh my god, that is absolutely massive. Not only does it simplify the fast stomp list, because you don't need to do fast stomp list, but holy shit, that is insane, especially Forlorn access for something like key dupe and for additional pickups, for something like access to the Forlorn escape if we need the grenade. Water Vein could still be grenade locked, is very important, and we see him going into the purple tree simply for, as you mentioned, there's the sense in there, which could come into play actually. With the early Spirit Light efficiency, something like sense isn't as bad as it might be otherwise. Infinite on the right side going for the Fronkiler as well, so will be quite some time until he decides to go for Horu, but I'm still not sure if that stomp was in logic. I'm actually fairly positive that it wasn't.
And another thing about that stomp is, while he can do... Well, he doesn't need to do stomp less because he has stomp. He also still needs to be able to get up to the rock in order to hit it, which would require something like bash or glide. So that's still out of reach. And again, if that was the intended progression to do the Charge Flame redirect, yikes, especially if, glide and bash are both locked behind that as progression. That would be mega yikes, but for now he does have quite a few pickups to check. You can do Forlorn with basically no skills, thanks to this gravity mechanic, which our runners will manipulate to get a bunch of keystone pickups, or what would be keystones, as fast as possible, falling sideways across the room. There's this one damage boost, that's pretty easy. Another keystone, that's quite a few of those in this area alone. He will warp out to get one more right by the door. Again, he's not actually going to use gravity, he has charge jump, and it's some mega health. Infinite, on the other side, does manage to complete the Igor lure or actually uses the spider shot with charge flame in order to get down into Buttercell, gets wall jump of his own. We are not actually back to skill parity because of that stomp, but hey, wall jump can occasionally be convenient for that extra jump off the wall. Who knows?
And actually, Stomp could be helpful. We have a bunch of birds, and Stomp actually gives you your double jump back, so... I don't say that is easy by any means, but it could be done.
Yeah, birds are absolutely jerks, so trying to use them can be painful. But it looks like Sirius is going to try it, as it is less painful than doing that Charge Flame redirect. So it's really the first bird that he has to get all the way over to, because you can't stomp on the lanterns, you can only bash them. But he will get out, does manage to get the stomp, And,
Okay.
it's possible though, and Sirius will be trying it more and more as Infinite is trying his own way, or his own different challenge of getting to Mount Horu.
Yeah, and I just want to emphasize, Sirius got up here without taking any damage. That in itself is like super amazing. Oh, just score a goal in between the birds. Did not quite get there. We will see. Oh, Infinite actually going for Horror Fields. I don't think we saw those from Sirius. So, new pickups on both sides and a very hard trick on the left.
Yeah, birds are just the worst. There's a reason why they're the final bosses of both Ori games, and it's because they are awful and mean and cruel, and we are seeing them just juke Sirius out left and right. Even if he gets the first bird, now he has to deal with both of these other ones. He gets another stomp there. Looks like he gets another one. Is he over to the wall? No, not quite enough. Oh, there's a little bit there. Oh my gosh, and he makes it up with that quad jump. Holy crap.
Oh my god.
Holy crap.
We definitely have to ask him if he's up for an interview after, whether that was actually preferable to the Sea Flame redirect. Wow, that was amazing.
Never in a million years would I have thought that was possible, but Sirius, right in front of my eyes, showed it off. And with that, the Kuro kill plane is gone, and he now has a lot of access to the left side of the map, as well as another tree, meaning that he only needs 2 more for that final hint, even though it's the Gumon seal and probably won't be all that useful. It could still hide Grenade, which does block off 1 pickup in Sorrow. So
however, he has the forlorn TP, so that one isn't quite as important.
Oh yeah, right. Dang.
But 50 minutes in, this is a skill set with which you can complete the game, and Sirius especially noted that since it's very likely in Master to find a skill on the final escape, and that skill cannot be Grenade, since Grenade is locking stuff specifically, like any skill would be helpful right now in his position for the final escape. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was his mode to just go for all the trees, try to look for the water vein in Sorrow, and hopefully find it not grenade locked, and then go to the final escape. And okay, there's climb. That just makes everything so much easier, especially in Sorrow.
Yep. We now have all 3 forms of wall interaction in the game, or at least Sirius does. And we also have 2 out of the 3 items that we need for grenade jumps, which would be incredible to see, especially since grenade might be needed anyways. There's that 1 pickup in Sorrow, so I am absolutely hoping against all hope that we need grenade to finish the seed so we can see those amazing jumps.
Oh yes, please. That would be insane. We see more Misty progression on the side of Sirius. I wouldn't be surprised if there was anything in Misty, although we still need some form of logical progression to get to the point where we can get into Misty. However, Infinite is doing some of the same tricks that Sirius did before, trying to attempt the door warp. He's also switching to KBM for that, I believe. So, yeah, gets up there, and we'll also find the amount of XP Sirius found there. Sirius is meanwhile in the spike corridor in Misty, with the amount of health and jumps, absolutely no problem. Let's see if the plant before the tree has anything. Nope, just experience. And experience is pretty valuable after all, because he is super close to the sense. I do believe he's only a bit more than 1 point off. No, actually just a bit more. But he is almost there.
Ooh. And interesting choice, he does decide to warp out after grabbing the tree. That means if required progression is somewhere in the latter half of Misty, he'll have to go all the way back through. But with stuff like climb, charge jump, quad jump, he can get up here fairly easily. And even though he doesn't have glide or bash or pretty much anything else to make entering Sorrow easier, he has zombies and he has ultra defense. And it looks like he just got sense and is even attempting a hyperspeed, pulling everything he can out of his pocket in order to help get into Sorrow, to get one of the last trees, as well as the water vein.
Oh, that is huge! Wow.
Who needs to do
Also,
fancy
small
tricks to get into
correction, he
sorrow when
didn't
you can just
quite
get
have
that?
enough points for sense. He is one off. I don't know what the skill before sense is, but that is what Sirius just acquired. I don't know what his sense colors are, so we will see that once he gets to sense. He's now just 1 and a bit points off of that. And there's a Grove TP.
Very, very not convenient at all, but that Sorrow TP was incredible to find. Lets him basically come right up here, and with Charge, Jump, and Stomp, these breakable walls don't stand a chance, and he's already at his 9th tree, which, oh, the Goomon Seals in Ginso. That's really interesting to know, because it means that stuff in Forlorn can't actually be in Logic.
Yeah, that would be super late in Logic. We also saw that there wasn't anything too important in Misty, and Infinite is doing the same client that Sirius did earlier. Sirius still absolutely has the lead. He has 2 skills over his opponent. He has the tree advantage. This is just his race to lose, unless unless it's grenade locked and Infinite stumbles upon it first. But we have a vast area in Sorrow, and for Watervein to be that specific pickup, okay. The dreams are gone.
Yeah, that is a decently challenging pickup to get without Glide, considering it's in the middle of a boatload of spikes without any enemies or anything to bounce off of. But Sirius can just damage boost, charge jump, and double jump his way all the way to it with relative ease, especially with Ultra Defense. And that is absolutely go mode for Sirius. Again, with so much verticality, Ginso, the vertical dungeon, does not pose a threat pretty much whatsoever. And so he will be racing straight
the play
up.
on Infinite's side. Infinite does not have the tree amount to do it, but I like the sentiment behind it. Okay, I'm just gonna start the escape, see what is on there, and use that to help me. Unfortunately, that's not how the game works. Oh, that would have been very great, though, if it did. However, Sirius is in Ginso tree, and just to point out, we were not sad about Sirius finding the progression. We were sad about the water vein just being so accessible. We were hoping for a longer seed. Sirius finding that is still absolutely amazing. And this is still one of the longer seeds of the tournament. We had seeds that were 40 minutes that were basically standard. Oh no, Sirius getting into the shot right as it was about to hit.
Yeah,
but yeah, great seed still for a final.
This seed definitely had, I think, a lot slower of a start. Like, we only had, charge jump or charge flame and double jump for 30 minutes, just walking around, blasting things, using some great double jump wall interaction. But yeah, it definitely started to pick up once our runners started finding, especially that charge jump in the swamp.
Oh, there's something in Ginso.
That infinite seas.
The Goomon Seal. Not quite that useful. However, Infinite did an amazing room, or attempted to do this room. I couldn't even do this with all the skills comfortably. This is a horrible room, just straight up. Infinite now heading for Ballet TP. Sirius now doing probably his last TP towards Horror. Will do one final door and then do the escape. With the skills he has, it shouldn't be too difficult. The only actual difficult room, it's not even difficult, the lantern room. With the amount of verticality that he has, it shouldn't be any problem.
Yep. In that room especially, you can go around the Kuro kill plane trigger and just kind of take all the time you want to set that room up as well as you'd need from a little bit of higher ground. So we'll see if that's what Sirius decides to do in that room, because he's going straight into the final escape. And it doesn't look to me like his skill wheel changed. He didn't get anything.
He did get an energy cell. So
is this even a master seed?
Yeah, is this even a master seed? Okay, wow, immediately knows where the safe spot is in this room. Sirius has been showing so much knowledge about this game throughout this final. This is definitely a deserved win on his side, unless he dies 10,000 times in the escape now. No exaggeration. He should be good to go, and I don't see him having troubles in these last two rooms. So going through here as Infinite is doing the Sea Flame redirect. Let's see if he can get it. Oh, takes a shot to the face as Sirius is climbing that final wall of the escape. And GG to him. Will be just over an hour, but wow, that was a seed.
Yeah, absolutely GG. Pulled off some phenomenal strats. I still don't even know if that Horu R1 room was supposed to be in Logic, but Sirius managed to get up there, managed to do everything he needed to do to bypass this ridiculous redirect that we see Infinite doing, and after getting that, he just barreled straight to the end, doing everything he needed, all the tricks, all the skips, and here he is, watching the final cutscene as Infinite still attempts this really hard Sea Flame redirect, which might be the only logical progression that was supposed to have happened.
Okay, after Charge Jump, our runners were supposed to find Valley TP. That then led to Climb. And that led to Water from the Inner Swamp Energy Cell, so the one at the top. And Sorrow TP from the Kuro Purge XP. Oh, and Infinite is probably aware that Sirius has finished. Not quite sure about that though. Yeah, he has forfeited. Forfeited, so decide to not go on with this.
I definitely don't blame him. This trick could take years of time because it is ridiculously precise and ridiculously tricky. And so, even with great execution, as we've seen from Infinite all tournament, Sea Flame redirect is stupid, and I hate it. So
okay, everyone leave your guess to where Glide was. Glide position is hilarious. Dash is just as hilarious.
Is Glide on Sunstone? I want that.
No. Glide was on the Forlorn escape.
Oh, that is good. That's amazing.
Great seed. We will ask our runners if they are up for interview. And then maybe have a chat about them, about the seed. Bash for completion was Valley Entry, Grenade, Long Swim. So that was VLS. And Grenade to fulfill that was the Sorrow Mapstone.
Ah.
And Dash was in the Ginso escape, so...
yeah, we weren't seeing that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, we the only skill they could have gotten was maybe the glide, but even that is kind of a gamble.
Yep. Although I will say, in our pre-run interviews, both runners said that their least favorite skills to get were Dash and Bash, and hey, we didn't get either of those, and we got Double Jump, so good seed, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, we have both runners on deck for an interview, so let's pull them in. GG to both of you, and GG Sirius to winning another tournament.
Thank you, and hugs to you for that seed. That was amazing.
Yeah, GG Sirius.
Thanks, GG.
Okay, so some spoilers of the seed. Glide was the only skill one of you could have gotten that was on the Wind Escape.
Mm-hmm.
All the other skills were fairly horrible. Dash was in the Ginso Escape, Grenade was on the Sorrow Mapstone, and Bash was VLS. So those were unlikely to get. Yeah, Sirius, going to you and your incredible Stomp find. Were you thinking about going to the top of Horror with your skill set, or were you just in Horror and then be like, okay, I can try this?
Well, it mostly would depend on what I found. Horu does like to have skills in Master, If I would have found a skill earlier, I definitely would have exited out, but I didn't, so I continued as far as I could.
Fair enough. And you made it absolutely look easy, so GG on that. And Infinite, you forfeited on Sea Flame Redirect Stompless. Is that something that you just dislike and put up for last, or did you just remember at that moment that that is a possibility?
I remembered that it's a possibility when I was in Horrorfield, but I have never done the Sea Flame Stompless with Sign. So I really didn't want to do it for the first time live in match. But I did watch before the race. Sam sent a video some time ago on Discord on his setup, so I did know kind of how to do it, but I really didn't want to do it.
It is a really hard trick, so understandable.
Yeah, no kidding. There are several really, really difficult strats in Master that both of you have pulled out this tournament. And I want to ask, let's start with Sirius first. What do you think is the worst trick you've ever had to do in a Master seed that you've done and still completed the seed with?
Oh, that I've actually done.
Mm-hmm.
While you think about that, Infinite.
Probably something grenade jumps R3?
Ooh, yeah. Grenade jumps can be pretty tricky if you don't have the setups memorized. I agree.
Yeah, they can be very finicky with the angles. But going back to the start of the seed, we started off with double jump as our first skill, and you both mentioned before that that would be your favorite skill to see. So, how did that make you feel at the start? Starting with you, Infinite.
Yeah, that was great. I like double jump. And the extra double jump was really nice as well.
Absolutely. And you, Sirius?
I'm really glad that we both got our favorite master start. I think that's great for us to have had. Well, at least both of us had fun in the race at the start. I can't talk for Infinite about the end.
Yeah, the end was really kind of rude. To be fair, Infinite found the Charge Flame fairly early and was able to go through Grotto with that in hand already. So that was quite a difference in the early game. However, in the late game, you had definitely an advantage. And yeah, we have, with that, finished this tournament. Turtle, do you have any question to our runners?
No, I think we're all good. I just want to say great job, both of you. That was a phenomenal, not only this race, but the entire tournament was great to watch for both of you. So thanks so much for showing off your masterful stuff.
I also want to thank literally everyone who made this tournament possible. It was so much fun for me, and I found out that I really enjoyed Master. I had no idea.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
completely same. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks to Lifter for pulling that off. Unfortunately, he had to pull out of commentary for tonight. So, yeah, on his behalf, thanks to all the volunteers. We had 15 volunteers helping out in total with the tournament. We had the 8 runners showing off incredible skills throughout everything. You can see on here on their screen right now how it turned out. And we also have a prediction winner. We had some predictions on the bracket going on, and actually the winner was our own organizer, Liftoff. I do believe he had everything correct, so GG to him for pulling that off. And I'm fairly sure that it was not scripted. We did have quite a few matches that were fairly close. Just the last match, of course, turning out incredibly close. And 8 people turning up here, and yeah, just thanks to everyone involved. Thanks, of course, to the people making 4.0 possible with the new Alt-R and everything. And yeah, we will see you maybe in another tournament. If you have anything you want to organize and maybe have presented on the OriSpeedrunning channel, let me know. We can definitely organize something in a smaller scale, like one weekend, maybe just a race between two people, maybe showing off something that hasn't been seen before. Like there are some cool strats and cool things happening in both Ori games. But for now, there's still more Ori content for this weekend. We aren't done yet. There is a second weekly happening of the any percent NMG tournament beforehand that happening tomorrow at 3 p.m. UTC on this very channel as well, so don't forget to check that out. But with that, I do think we have everything for this broadcast done. So I was joined by Turtle on commentary. We had Apple Tree and Fox Diamond helping out with some stats behind the scene. We had the dude handing the restream, and we had, of course, Sirius and Infinite pulling off a great final. So GG again to Sirius, our winner of this Random Master Tournament in 2022. So hopefully you all have a wonderful rest of your night, and see you later.